Today we're going to kind of talk about print and, kind of a holistic approach to advertising. Yesterday we were talking and you said some stuff that made a lot of sense and you were really passionate about it. I want to know from you, like, why is print still relevant, and especially why garden culture?
Yeah, well, I think print has been relevant for 200 years or so, maybe longer. It's something that people often trust. But in garden culture and in niche print specifically, I mean, I could use the example of almost any product out there. I'll take even bikes for fun. If if you sell a bike part and you make something and you want to sell it direct to somebody, well, I would tell most companies to sell it online. Spend the majority of your money doing that. And that even goes for my customers who are manufacturers and sell direct. It's not a Once you get big enough and you have a budget, then looking towards something like me to add on. But if you are manufacturing and you have people distributing your product for you back to the bike parts, well, then being in a magazine that's distributed in a bike store, read by bikers who are buying stuff, it just makes a lot of sense. So we're exactly the same. I mean, I could have just used us as the example, but if you're trying to reach growers, our magazine is distributed in grow stores, read by growers, read by the people who run those stores, and there's no way to find those people anywhere else. And the fact that we've been doing this for over 13 years also really increases the trust people have in the magazine. So when someone has been picking this up for over a decade, when they look through it, they believe what's in it. So the impact that your ad has in there, it really can't be compared. And and I often look up, and I recommend to anyone who's a marketing manager or in marketing to just even Google why is print still relevant in niche industries, and you will find article after article from National Advertising Association or the Sherpa Marketing or all these really Nielsen or all the big people who do research, and you will find just article after article after article on why. And I hate to say better because I don't think it's better, but they'll say you'll find an article why it's better than digital, why digital is so crowded and so busy, and the way our brains work when we're scrolling on a computer compared to when we're flipping on a magazine. So there's so many reasons why print should be part of a marketing campaign, and especially in this industry where reaching growers who are actually spending money online is how do you do that? How do you find grow store owners online? How do you find grow store employees and then target them directly? Is pretty much well impossible. And that's exactly what we do. 95% of our magazines are read by growers who are either receiving it as part of an online package because they bought something online and they get it through one of our distributors online, or they picked it up in a store where they've walked into this physical store and are actually buying stuff. You cannot have a more targeted group anywhere. And I'm a huge online fan, and one of the benefits of print also is this cross-platform opportunities. So whatever you're doing online, whatever campaign you're doing online, you can have that same campaign promoted in the magazine, reaching not necessarily the same people twice, but they're the same group of people that you want to reach. And then you can have it cross back to your digital campaigns with QR codes or links or whatever you want. So it isn't just print anymore. Print is an extension of an online campaign if that's what you want. So it is so much more than what a lot of people see it as an old fashioned or a useless media compared to back before the internet. But it's not. In fact, it might even be more useful because people are so distracted online. Whereas 10 years ago, maybe we'd click on an ad, or in fact, there is also information on this on how less and less and less engaged we are online as time goes on.
And don't forget dead internet theory, which is kind of happening more and more, which is the idea that it's just bots talking to each other.
Well, that exists, but I'm talking about engaged, real, to what people can figure. But yes, you never know who's responding to, a bot talking to a bot. And I had this conversation with a bunch of people just on it being funny more than anything else because I'm working and we're going to be using a garden culture bot to help answer people's questions and whatnot, and it's really cool and it works, but it's not a person. And when they bots start talking to bots, yes, that's funny, but
Can you take me through the reader journey? Somebody goes into, take me through how somebody gets the magazine in their hand. And I'd like to focus a little bit on why there's a higher intent to purchase and kind of like what that looks like.
well, I guess our readers get the magazine three different ways. One is, and I think, like I have to point out that it's maybe the most important one, but not maybe not necessarily. It's to who walk into a grocery store. So someone walks into a grocery store, and if it's in the United Kingdom or Canada or U.S. or wherever, and their intent is to walk in there and buy stuff, obviously, but they are given and or pick up this magazine. So they're now taking this home with them. They'll put it in their bag. They're going to bring it home, and then at one point when they get home, they're going to flip through it. The second is they've bought something online, and we have, I don't know how many thousands go out this way every edition. So a lot of our distributors, and we have some specific online retailers who do this also. For every order shipped, a magazine will go with it. So now they have bought something, and when their package arrives at their house, there's a magazine in that package. And talking to the people who do this, they've done a little bit of focus groups that these people love receiving the magazine with their stuff. These are small growers, right? So often they're new to this, which is where it becomes even more important because they will read the magazine. So read it. And that's, again, in our research, not every article maybe, but a lot of them. So they're moving through this slowly, and then back to intent. They have intent on spending time with this, slowly flipping through it, looking at the ads, and in ingesting this information or digesting this information, and it sticks. It sticks in their brains. And then the third group, which for a lot of my customers now, maybe the most important group, which is we send this direct to commercial facilities across North America. In Canada, we've been super aggressive in the sense we must be in over 60% now. Our goal is to be in about 85 to 90% by the end of the year. We're just acquiring lists and sending them out. In the US is a bit different, but we still send out to a couple thousand, maybe let's say 1,000 to 2,000 every edition through our distributors and through different means. We do some direct mailing also. So there's a little bit different. It ends up in break rooms and in bathrooms and whatnot, but it's still, again, from our asking different LPs or licensed producers or commercial facilities, we've asked, the little focus is what they do with the magazine, and it lingers. It's not something, again, back to comparing to online, which is scrolled and clicked and gone and gone. It's there for a second and gone. These things stick around for months and months and months. They'll often keep maybe, I don't know, 5 or 6 editions in a little stack somewhere. So that's going back a year, where they just don't disappear. So, again, the intent for a lot of people is just to have that magazine and flip through it. We're lucky enough to have a super talented graphic artist who makes it beautiful. And we have really nice covers and whatnot. And that, again, we found that people don't, there's almost a slight amount of guilt for some people to throw it away. So again, those ads that people pay good money for get seen often over and over and over.
Yeah.
So
I want to talk to the quality of the magazine. That was the first thing that I had, once I got the magazine. This is not a flimsy cheap magazine. This is a quality. You put it in your hands and it feels good. It's got a very glossy, high-end design cover. I was really surprised at the quality just because I didn't know what to expect when I first got it, and I got it and I was like, oh my God, this is gorgeous. It is a really nice magazine. So I think, if you haven't put it in your hands, people got to go put the magazine in their hands, go to their grow shop, and can they request it from their grow shop? Can you tell me about like what it takes to become an advertiser? Do you guys do the ad design? Do they do it? How does that work?
for the most part, they do it. They do it, and we have designed ads for some people, but we prefer not to. So yeah, they just need to contact me. We have a meeting. We discuss the opportunities, budgets, and everything, and then they design an ad, and we give them a blank page to do what they like, and then And there's other like we have the marketplace section where we spotlight just products, where it's a descriptive text that also ends up online on our website. And then there are other opportunities that are more, working together to do company profiles and these sort of things, which are, it's paid advertising, but we can dig a little deeper.
I think what's cool about it is if you are a grower, if you are somebody who cares about gardening, the magazine actually has really great articles in it. Can we talk about like the writers and how you guys select that stuff? Because this is not just something to put ads in. This is actual useful words.
But yeah, well, that's been our point from day one, is that the articles are written by people who are either experts in their field or have been growing and into knowledge and writing. Not just good growers don't make good writers. And then I've been going to trade shows for over 20 years, meeting people and finding some like amazing stars in this industry. Whether they're PhDs or just brilliant people who know how to grow and know how to write. And then we work together on coming up with articles that will give useful growing information. And the idea is we try to make most of the articles actionable with some sort of how to, or that it's not just it's hey this and do it this way, and then this is what you can look for. And then we also have a lot of articles that are again, Celia and I have always wanted the magazine not just to be focused on one plant or one thing. So we talk about environmental issues, we talk about regular gardening, we talk about regular small family farms, birds, bees, butterflies, turmeric, ginger, those sort of things. Which my experience is most people who love growing, and so we try to give them a little something extra in there to read about. And yeah, again, I try to align myself with the best, some of the best consultants and best minds in our industry to write things so that I can learn something new on every edition also.
Very important. If can you answer this question? If you own a business in this space, why garden culture?
Yeah, well, if you're an advertiser and you want to reach growers and commercial facilities in North America, there is no other more targeted, kind of laser focused medium than garden culture. 95% of our readers are growers. And in a smaller sense, they're growers walking into grow stores spending money. This is an unbelievably unique group of people that is exactly who every single company wants to have their logos and their message in front of.
Nailed it, dude. That was great. I love that. Okay, perfect. Um,
Yeah, my chair is super squeaky.
yeah. One other thing I wanted to tell you: be careful about banging on your desk. Your mic is picking up those bangs as like deep bass.
Okay.
Um, okay. I
Yeah, I'm
want
super fidgety. I'm a fidgety guy. Sitting still
I
is
get
not
it.
easy for me.
It's not easy for me to sit still and not talk. So I had a lot of control over here. All right. Let's see what else I need. I just want to make sure I got everything. And you have a different relationship with your, it seems like your clients aren't just clients, they become kind of partners and you guys work hand in hand with them. Can you kind of talk about your working relationship?
Yeah, well, many years ago I did my degree in marketing also, so it's something that I'm quite passionate about, and we do work closely with our customers. The more they want, the more I'll give time to both work out the ideas, the messaging, how this relates to what they're doing online and campaigns, launches, all of it. So even the graphic sides or copy. So I have some customers will send me their ads, a month in advance. I read it over. I try to be, nice, but sometimes brutal, and give my 2 cents on why these words don't work, why this layout is too much, or it's usually too many words, and I like to focus on the big idea, and really help get the message out, get their message out in a way that my customers will want to. When I say click on, it's one of the beauties of of print now, like I said earlier, it is not just something you read and flip through. If you read and you're interested, you take your phone, it's in your hand, it's in everybody's hand. And I say thanks to COVID and ordering off QR codes at restaurants, we're really good we're not QR code shy anymore. If someone wants more information, they'll either type it up right away, which is you can't trace that back to that ad. So a lot of people will go on through a website and you would never know it. Sorry, banging my table. Or yeah, that was it. Sorry, I lost my train of thought. But yeah, that is it. I'll spend as much time as they need to help develop their campaign, and so their campaign is makes sense for a print magazine as opposed to another medium.
Can you talk about the type of advertisers you have and a little bit about how you don't just pile everybody on? You'll say no. You won't take 8,000 people in the same space.
Yeah, apart from some of the big categories like nutrients, if another big brand name nutrient wants to advertise with me, typically we just say yes, yes, yes. These are important brands that everyone knows and everyone should have access to. Same thing goes with the distributors. So all the distributors are welcome to advertise. But when I get into other categories, especially specialized categories, which we're starting to look into more, it could be seeds or auxiliary post-harvest equipment. Yeah, we look for maybe one or two per category. I do not want this magazine to be 100 pages of ads, because if I did, then I'm gonna have to make it a 250-page magazine, and I don't think anyone wants that. So yeah, we've all tried to be relatively, 100 pages is nice, relatively exclusive. And then we do all categories, but again, mostly it's the, equipment. We've always been heavy on equipment and anything needed to actually grow.
And I'm just curious for myself. We don't need to put this out, but like with people who come on, how often do they what's the length that they typically stay clients?
I have a bunch of customers that have been with us for 13 years. So for 63, 64 editions, the Canas and some of the big brands, a lot of the distributors like Biofloral have been with me since day one. Or in the UK especially, I have geez, I don't even know how many who have been with me for 65 or 60 whatever editions it's been over there. I have other people who come on for one, and if they tell me that in the beginning, I will stop them. Without, I don't want to be rude, but and tell them, look, that's a bad place to spend your money. If you're expecting to put one ad into a print magazine and see how it goes, then you've missed the idea of what both marketing, and you could do that online. You could do an online campaign and see if it actually sells something for you, or see how many clicks or likes you get. But typically, there's no ROI on that either. So the idea is there's a little bit of faith that's needed in print advertising, understanding that, if I print in North America 20,000 editions, and even if a quarter of them end up in the recycling bin, that's 15,000 magazines that get distributed, picked up, and read every 2 months. That's a lot of ultra targeted people to be looking at the magazine. And you can make an ad campaign that's garbage, that no one will ever pay attention to. You'll never get a click, you'll never get a call, you'll never get anything. And you can get another one that'll drive tons of interest, traffic, and sales. And if you go back long enough, again, pre-internet, where everything was you could measure, most advertising was not measurable. And the way you measured it was you create a campaign and then you follow sales. Are sales going up due to this, or is it the market changes that are making the sales go up, external or internal? And that I try to talk to my customers about without making it sound like, oh, you just have to have faith this is going to work. They don't like that. They like to measure everything now. But the reality is, what we measure is the amount of magazines printed and who it goes to. Those are the clicks. Those are the views. It is happening. I do print those, and that's the metric that I try to get people to think about when they're going on print, and why print is still both relevant and gets the views they want.
If people want to track print, it's easy, right? The QR code, a special offer to sign up for, right? Like if you want to see where something's coming for, there's unique identifiers that can be put in print if people care to.
Yeah, and it has to be done properly. So there was a study I read a little while ago, which I lost and can't find, but it's super interesting, just on QR codes and engagement to QR codes through print and the language used to get people to click. So that this thing I read was using a swear word, just a swear word. So click here to get more information, and there's a QR code, and it says fucking, like big fucking. Click here to get more information, and it was like 3.5 times, like 350% more engagement.
If you added fucking.
Yeah,
Yeah.
which is now you wouldn't do that. A lot of people wouldn't do that, But they're again using animation or like let me say animation like drawings or anything to bring attention, to be funny, cheeky, even rude, brash, anything to click here, get their attention, and the chances that their click goes through the roof. So boring ads get very little attention. Good ads, and then the other thing with print, and it's with all marketing, is repetition. And this is back to, it may not be that you can put an ad and no one will click on your thing, but on the fifth one they may start. And that's that. Again, I often use Coke and Pepsi as an example for why advertising. Why do print or why do any advertising? Why would Coke and Pepsi advertise? Everybody knows what Coke is. Everyone knows what it tastes. People even know it has 39 grams of sugar or whatever in a can. They know everything about it. So why spend hundreds of millions that this company can put and give it to their shareholders? Why? It's because if you don't see that ad, the chances are you're going to go buy a fucking root beer.
Because top of mind matters.
That's it. And that's what marketing often is all about. Being creative, having, good messaging, being funny, getting their attention so that it stays in their head. So there's lots of research out there, and anyone can Google it and read scholarly articles on the fact that what you see in print sticks in your head way more than what you see online. The bang for your buck for single image view, it's much stronger. So if you keep putting it out and people keep picking up the magazine and they keep seeing your ad, the trust and the memory it's not comparable to, unless you have a brilliant online campaign. And then I tell everyone they should do their online campaign anyway. It's not like don't do it. It's just do both.
It's a holistic, and people need to think about this. It's a longer sales cycle with equipment and things like that. People they're thinking, they're researching, they're in that phase of discovery. And a magazine is a great place for people who are pondering, thinking about, well, what equipment am I going to put in my facility? I mean, as somebody who's built facilities, that's what I did. I had different manufacturers, PDFs, and I'm looking through them and I'm making decisions. That's how the sales process works. So getting these brands in front of people who are making decisions, it might be on the 12th episode, but then they might buy $500,000 worth of stuff. So it's right there.
And they might have more engagement with your online campaign because they saw the ad for the last 3 years in garden culture. Now they're seeing something you're doing online and they're like, oh yeah, Mills, or oh yeah, whoever, or oh yeah, Canna, or they it's just they're more familiar with your brand and whatever your message is, right? We give them time. It's so slow, a magazine. So if whatever you're trying to say, the chances they put that page and look at it, well, they'll absorb your message or your launch or whatever you're doing and be more aware. And again, it just makes other campaigns more useful, including trade shows. When they walk by your booth at a trade show, if they're readers of the magazine and been seeing your ad for the last year, 2 years, whatever, well, they're the chance that they may stop and they're not thinking, oh yeah, that print ad, I'm going to stop here. They're like, oh yeah, that company. And they don't even necessarily know why they're familiar with you, but they are familiar with you. And again, that's all back to what marketing is supposed to do. I said print isn't dead. Print will never be dead, no matter where this internet goes, because the bigger and more popular our time and everything that the internet is, time being spent and everything, we want to get away from it. And there's been studies done on a lot of groups of people when given a chance to read an article. If you have to read this 400-word article, and you can read it online or you can read it in print, the large majority of all groups, all ages, would rather read it on paper.
That would be really interesting to go out on the street with an iPad and a piece of paper and say, I have this thing I'd like you to read real quick. It's only a few sentences. You can either read it off of the iPad or the piece of paper. I'm
Yeah, or I could
curious.
even just ask. Yeah, I could just ask a question because no one's going to sit and read anything in the street if I ask them. But yeah, well, if I do it in Canada, maybe the people are so nice up here. Um, just kidding.
Um, I was thinking like, I don't think this is the right slogan, but a banner is gone in a blink and a magazine stays on your mind. Something I was saying a magazine stays on your member, but that sounds kind of creepy.
Yeah, yeah. Well, it's like diamonds are forever. It could just be magazines are forever.
I mean, they are. Think about, I mean,
Well, again, with some imagery of diamond, like that cheesy Benny Hill era when they smile, and then the tooth would, ching, or you say magazines are forever, and you can have it almost like
you gave this
like
to me when we met, and it's been with me every single day, sitting at my desk. Didn't know anything would happen between us, right? Like, I just thought the magazine was cool.
yeah. Well, that's again part of, and some of the other covers like this one because you keep showing that one. I'm like, I like that cover, but a cover like this, like I fucking love this cover.
That's amazing. Send me more.
You're not on the mailing list?
No,
Oh, that's
I don't
stupid.
think so. Did I thought I signed up online.
Well, I know I have your no, that's subscription. Mailing list is I mail you a magazine every day.
Oh, yeah, dude, I would love one.
Yeah, 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 of course. I don't even know why.
I was also thinking, do you ever have like affiliate distributors? Like is there any value? Because I know people like if they had the magazine or saw them in some of the stores that I go to around here, they would read it.
What kind of store?
Like dispensaries, grow shops, like
Yeah,
things like
so
that, garden
this is
shop.
actually an important bit for why the advertising is why our target group is so important is that I know I don't. I could send that magazine to dispensaries and it would get picked up and read. I had a hernia surgery once. I had to go into this place for 5 days, and I brought a stack of magazines because I figured this is early on in the magazine, like edition 4, and and as I got in there, I saw the magazine piles everywhere because people got to sit around here and they get nothing to do, so I put them out. And then I met this woman. She's a Bronfman. So if you look up Bronfmans, it's one of the Canada's richest families, and her family is worth billions. So we got chatting, and I said, "Oh, she goes, what do you do?" I do this. "Oh, I love gardening," and then so I'm like, "Let me find you a copy. There's like 10 copies in here." Oh, man, I couldn't find one. They were all gone, taken away, stolen. It was one of those moments early in my career. I was, oh, I think I have something here. Like, people fucking like this thing. So I have since brought it out and I put it in dentist office when I go, or I bring one just for fun. When I travel, I'll often have a couple and I'll put them on the magazine rack just for fun, And I've seen them get taken. So the answer is, yeah, I can put them all over the place. And I'm sure people would read them because they're interested in gardening. But I don't want that. I want them to go into the locations that have the customers that are buying the stuff that my customers are selling. So no one in a dentist office is buying canna, but everyone in a grocery store could buy whatever nutrients. So we've always opted not to. We were accepted by Barnes and Noble on day one. They saw our magazine. They're like, "Yes, you can have this magazine here. Absolutely. It's a beautiful magazine." And then Barnes and Noble, it's a fucking scam. They wanted money. We can put it in for free. So I don't know how it works with magazines. I send them 1,000 magazines. If 500 sell, I get paid for the 500. They send me the covers back of the other 500. And I only charge them for the ones that sell. The rest are binned. Go in recycling. Well, in a pay environment, most magazines are very far from selling out. And they're only sending a couple per I couldn't be bothered. Now, again, someone who buys it is probably going to be quite interested in it and actually might buy that, but I've always just wanted to be very targeted and be able to say that like 90 whatever percent of my customers are exactly who you're trying to reach.
I think that's great. Well, thanks for your time, Eric. You were very knowledgeable in helping me get some great sound bites.